What's going on, everyone? So now that summer league is kind of coming to its end, I know Lakers just beat the Chicago Bulls, but we're basically approaching the last game or so. So I wanted to continue to go through kind of the players and what we've seen, right? Unless we see something crazy from Colin Castleton out of left field, then we kind of have an idea and understanding of what to expect from him. And so, I think he's a guy that really showed everything you wanted to see in this summer league, right? Talked about how he's much improved from shooting the three ball and that he can now extend and knock it down comfortably. Yes, saw that. I mean, the dude was knocking down a three pretty much every game. Guy was basically a walking double-double. Summer league, I get it, but you saw that he had the impact. He stood out. He wasn't just another face in the crowd. He was a guy that game in and game out gave you that level of consistency. His ability to score around the rim. Does he still need work? Is he still, is he all of a sudden like he's the answer at the starting center position? No, he's not that. But I do think at some point you got to throw him to the wolves. Some point you got to throw him to the fire. His skill set is just it's masterful, right? Like his ability to make plays out of the post, his three count is excellent. The read, the 1, 2, 3 read, when he got the ball in the post before you make your decision, right? Like all of the little things and versatility that you could potentially have with Colin Castleton, his ability to knock down the mid-range, put the ball on the deck, make plays for others, defend and be a rim protector. Again, is he elite defensively? Is he a guy, I don't even know. Right now, he's, probably still your third big, right? He's probably still not even ready to be your backup big man yet. But you also won't know until you actually throw him in some NBA minutes and like some meaningful NBA minutes. My only real major concern with Colin Castleton, and we'll expand on this here more in a moment, but my only real big concern with Colin Castleton is the lack of physicality. He plays really soft, right? Like for a center, for a big man who, especially when you get to the NBA, right? Like you're going up and playing in a much more physical type of environment than the G League or Summer League. And I felt like I wanted to see him be a little bit more physically imposing. No, it's also not necessarily his game. Like he's not this I'm just going to bully you, body you, right? He's kind of more do a little bit of everything type, but he definitely needs to be more physical at an NBA level. But before we even talk about him actually making the roster, because he is on a two-way, they did re-up his two-way, but right now you got Christian Wood, Anthony Davis, Jackson Hayes, and particularly with Jackson Hayes and Christian Wood, the only way you can bring Colin Castleton in is one of those two have to go. I mean, technically Cam Reddish could go too, but it'd be kind of redundant. Now you have basically 4 centers, and only one of them is really good enough to start and get huge minutes. Now, I do think Christian Wood, I think he could have a bigger impact with J.J. Redick, and if he's properly utilized and slotted. But he's more of a 4 than he is a 5, right? He doesn't really have the size that you want at the 5 position. Could he, if you had to and he was your only option? Sure, right? And I don't think that necessarily be the end of the world, but I want a better center. So the Lakers have to make some type of trade, have to unload somebody if they want to bring in Colin Castleton. But assuming the Lakers make some type of move, some type of trade, right? Because the Lakers are active in looking for salary dump trades and trying to find and explore other trades. Plus, J.J. Redick even said that, that they really need another big body center, and that's something that they've talked about and, have tried is the word I believe he used. So, obviously they're still going to be active. He even said could come before the season begins, could come around the trade deadline. We'll see how it goes. But, going on the assumption that you at least pull off, a trade for, let's say, Wendell Carter Jr. or something, right? Then, if you keep Jackson Hayes, which a lot of talk about the Lakers wanting to keep Jackson Hayes over Christian Wood, which to me, if you trade Rui Hachimura, then I think you should keep Christian Wood, because now you got essentially his replacement in a pinch. Right? People forget Christian Wood was a 17-8 guy. Right? He was a guy that was able to, spread the floor and play. Blah, blah. He just was terrible with the Lakers because Darvin Ham played him as if he was a 3-and-D wing rather than, he played everybody. Him, Rui, Spencer Dinwiddie, played them all out of position. Even J.J. Redick called out that, saying, a lot of guys just standing around, not really running sets, not really running actions, right? So, to me, it depends on the type of trade the Lakers make. Again, going on the assumption that a trade is eventually made. If it is just a straight salary dump trade, then I still think, I guess if you unload Wood, right, like you could have Hayes kind of be your backup, which again, I think he's still more of a 3/3 big man, develop him for another year or two type guy. And then, have Hayes as like your third big, sure, give you a different look, give you a different type of skill set. But how much longer are you going to spend with Colin Castleton, right? If he's not ready, then I think you need to, if he's not ready, I think you need to move on, right? I really like Colin Castleton a ton. And I would hate to see the Lakers move on from him and then he goes and shines with somebody else. But also, if you're not willing to give him the opportunity, let him go somewhere where you can get the opportunity. The guy's already 24. Now, he just turned 24 in May, so it's not like he's, 24, going to be 25. But still, it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to develop him for another 2 or 3 years along with Jackson Hayes and, and then now he's 27 or something, and it's like, now is he ready? Like, sure, could you develop him for another year? Okay, but it's like, at what point, like, how does he adapt and adjust his physicality unless you actually put him in a physical setting, right? Because in the G League, he doesn't have to be a real bruiser, right? In Summer League, he doesn't have to be a real bruiser, right? But when he gets to the NBA, he's going to need it. Right? I'm not saying he has to be like Jokic or anything, but he's going to need to be a lot more physical. And the only way you're really going to get that is by giving him minutes. And I'm not saying you have to play him 30 minutes a game, but I do think it would be nice to see him get on occasion, even if you do keep him on a two-way. I think you got to bring him in. I think they get, two ways to play like 50, I think it's like 52 games season, something like that off the top of my head. I think you got to at least get him 30-plus games where he's getting, 15, maybe 20 minutes. And just see what he's doing. Obviously, if he's, like, atrocious, you want to win as many games as possible, especially in the West. So you can't really mess around. But, if he's holding his own and he's at least decent and he's not like, oh, we're getting killed right now because of Colin Castleton, then I think you leave him in and you kind of let him go to work and just kind of see what can he provide. Because, like, again, it's great to develop guys, but you can only develop guys off court so long, right? You can only develop guys in the G League so long. At some point, they have to make the leap into the actual league and the actual NBA. And to me, it's like, if at what point do you decide, all right, it's time to move off of him if you don't believe in him and don't believe he's ready, right? If he's not ready, then fine, he's not ready, right? Great example is, and I've seen people mention, he's like Jay Huff. Right? He still has been a journeyman, still can't find minutes. He played for Denver last year, and Denver had, like, no bench, no other bigs, and he didn't really see the court, right? Like, and he's still playing in Summer League and all that stuff, right? Trying to earn roster spots. And, I know he was, like, a fan favorite, people like him, but he's clearly not an NBA guy, right? So at what point is it like, okay, maybe Colin Castleton is not an NBA guy? I think he is. I think he can be, but you won't know until you actually put him in a game. You won't know until you actually give him an opportunity to play and then throw him to the Wolves and let him go to work. Because at some point, you got to make a decision one way or another. Either, okay, let's get him in and let him, because it's like, because again, even if you bring him in, it's probably going to take a year or two for him to really blossom into the player that he can be. Right? Because, so that further adds to my point, right? Like, it's like, okay, let's say you spend another 2-3 years developing him. Now he's 26, 27, and then it's going to take him another, he's not going to be, an actual rotation piece till he's 30. At that point, I'd rather you go get somebody else, go take a flyer on a young guy that you can develop for the next 4 or 5 years. And then at that point, now he's 24 and he's ready, right? I'd rather you do that, right? Like, then you're going to bring in Colin Castleton 3 years too late, right? If you don't think he's ready, then you got to let him go, cut him loose, and bring in a guy that can actually either be ready within a year or get that development guy, right? Because it's like Colin Castleton, you've been developing this is what, year 3, year 2, whatever it is. Right? It's like, at what point do you go, all right, it's time to bring him in, right? At what point do you go, it's time that, he gets an opportunity to shine. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like the idea of Colin Castleton? Do you think that, yes, you need to bring him in? Do you think no? Keep him in the G League. He's not ready yet. He's not physical enough. Whatever. How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.